Okay, as was pointed out at the beginning, there is one question pointed at each of the individual candidates. The random order that we've been going will make Senator Hatch's question first. So this question is directed specifically to you, and then each will get their own question. The time's expanded for these questions to 2 full minutes. Senator Hatch, you have sponsored or voted in favor of many bills over the term of your service with the U.S. Senate that expand the scope of the federal government. If our country needs fiscal discipline at this critical juncture, how can we trust that you are the person to provide conservative fiscal leadership?
Well, first of all, I haven't voted for everything that expands the federal government. Voted for very few things that might even be considered expansion. I'm the author of the Balanced Budget Constitutional Amendment. I brought it to the floor 13 times. We actually passed it back in the 80s under Reagan. We actually passed it, then the House killed it. I have to say that twice I got it within 1 vote. In 1997, I had 67 votes as I walked to the floor to make the final arguments for the Balanced Budget Constitutional Amendment, and I was informed that John Hines of Pennsylvania had flipped on us because he was afraid of the unions who threatened to destroy his chances for re-election. We lost that. Can you imagine? Had we passed that amendment, we wouldn't be in the awful shape we are today. We'd have to live within constraints, within our means, and I intend to work my guts out to get that balanced budget amendment finally passed by 67 votes, get it through the House, and then get it to the states. And I think 38 states, or 3/4 of them under the Constitution, I think they'd ratify it as fast as we can turn our heads. The fact is, some of us really do work hard to get this country out of its doldrums, out of the problems that it's in. And yes, every once in a while there are pieces of legislation that you wish you hadn't done. I voted 12,600 times in the United States Senate. I can't look back on many votes that I would have changed, and almost all of them are conservative votes, rock rib, that I think you would appreciate and that you would like. All I can say is I'm there for a good reason. I have a position that is the highest position, and I think Mitt Romney and I can turn this country around if we can get more Republicans there in both the House and the Senate.
We'll go to a 45-second rebuttal. Senator Liljenquist.
Senator Hatch, one of my most proud moments of my life was watching you debate that balance, but I was in the gallery. I could not have been more proud. The challenge I have was, I wish it would have passed too, because when we controlled the Senate, the House, and had the presidency, and even against the advice of Comptroller General David Walker saying it was the most financially irresponsible move since the 1960s, you voted and championed Medicare Part D, which added $16 trillion of debt to this country. Now, all our debt from George Washington until now is $15.3 trillion. It is not lost on me that I'm going to have to pay for that, as are a whole bunch of people in this room. You can't hold up the balanced budget in one hand and then pass for legislation that makes it impossible to balance the budget in the other.
Senator Hatch. Senator.
Wait. You want to go first?
Yeah.
Well,
Senator,
wait just a second. I'm going to answer that. Let me
Senator,
tell you. Don't be so enthusiastic. Go ahead.
Senator, okay, go ahead. Representative Herrod, thank you.
First off, I want to make it perfectly clear that I'm grateful for Senator Hatch's service. 36 years, he has sacrificed. I'm in this race because I want people to vote for me, to look at my accomplishments that I've done, willing to stand up and make the difficult choices. The fact of the matter is that the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Senate, has not passed a balanced budget in my generation. We need to make sure that you don't have to have a balanced budget to actually pass a balanced budget. And so, again, I'm very grateful for Senator Hatch, but I do believe that it's time for other people to have the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to, Senator Hatch.
Personally, I believe it's time for Utah to have the opportunity, and that's what I'll bring to him as chairman of the Finance Committee. But with regard to Part D is the only federal program that I've seen in all my time there that has really spent less than what we projected it to spend. And it has brought pharmaceuticals to especially seniors all over this country, and it's one reason why we're now approaching 100 years of age. If we live to age 74, you're going to live to age 90 and maybe even 100. So I wouldn't knock something that has helped millions and millions of seniors and many, many other people who are handicapped and otherwise, but it came in at less than what we projected it to be, and it was written on the order of a state program.
Okay, I am going to keep to the one rebuttal from now on, but Senator Hatch had two, so Senator Liljenquist, go ahead. But after this, it's one rebuttal per question, and then we're going to move on with the questions.
You know, I don't have a problem with Medicare Part D. What I have a problem with is we knew it wasn't paid for. If something comes in 40% less expected than you think, did we expect it to be $22 trillion, and it came in at 16? To me, it doesn't seem like that good of a deal, especially when it hasn't even shown up in our debt yet. Now, it's exasperating to me a little bit to know that we haven't even realized those losses and we're struggling to meet the commitments we've already made to our seniors. On Social Security and Medicare, those funds are bankrupt. How do you make more commitments saying you're going to look out for seniors when those funds are gone? And it's going to fall to my generation to pay for it.